It's 6:45 in the morning. I'm standing in this tiny village in Provence, literally middle of nowhere, and the sun is just starting to hit these endless purple lavender fields, and I can smell them. Like, not just a little bit. It's this overwhelming, almost sweet smell that's just everywhere. And I'm holding this coffee that tastes like burnt dirt because French countryside coffee is terrible, let's be honest. But in that moment, I literally thought, oh, this is why people lose their minds over France. But here's the wild part. That moment didn't even make my top 10. So if you're planning your first trip to France, or maybe you're just sitting there at 2 a.m. scrolling travel videos and dreaming, stick around, because I'm sharing the 10 experiences that absolutely changed how I see travel and honestly, how I see life. And I promise you, this isn't just going to be go see the Eiffel Tower, we're going deeper than that. Number 10. Spending a morning wandering through a real French market. Not the tourist ones, the actual local ones where you're fumbling around trying to figure out how to buy cheese. My first real market was in Aix-en-Provence. I walked in at 9 a.m. and immediately got hit with this smell of fresh herbs. Rosemary, thyme, lavender in huge bundles. I'm just standing there with my mouth open. There's this cheese vendor, older guy, and I point at a cheese because I'm too nervous to say anything. He looks at me, looks at the cheese, and goes, "Non, just non." Then he hands me a different one. Makes me taste it right there. Best cheese I've ever had. Markets run from early morning till about 1 p.m. Get there before 10. Bring cash. Learn 3 phrases. Bonjour, je voudrais, and c'est combien? That's it. You're gonna feel awkward. You're gonna butcher French. But that's the whole point. This is where you stop being a tourist and start actually participating in France. Plus, you'll spend maybe 10 to 15 euros and feel like you live like a local. Number 9. Mont Saint-Michel. I know it's on every list, but most people do it wrong. First time I went, middle of the day, August, thousands of people. Couldn't even walk without getting elbowed. Took my photos, left thinking it was just okay. Second time, we stayed overnight on the island. Expensive, like 200 euros a night, but we watched everyone leave around 6 p.m. Then it's just quiet. The island goes from chaos to medieval silence. We walked up to the abbey at sunset, watching the sunset over those tidal flats, with this 1,000-year-old monastery behind you, maybe 10 other people around. I got full-body chills. You can actually feel the history when you're not fighting crowds. If you can't stay overnight, go super early morning or shoulder season like May or September. The walk around the ramparts at low tide is free. Wear good shoes, those cobblestones are steep. I watched so many people in flip-flops fall. This lives up to the hype if you time it right. Number 8. Bordeaux wine country. Before you click away, I wasn't a wine person either. We did this bike tour through vineyards. You bike from chateau to chateau, taste wine, eat cheese and bread, then bike to the next one. By the third chateau, I could barely ride straight. We have video of me almost crashing into an expensive rosebush, not my finest moment. But it was hilarious and felt so much more real than sitting in some stuffy tasting room. The smell of those vineyards in summer, grapes, warm earth, sometimes lavender. When you're a little wine drunk, biking through French countryside, stopping for photos in endless vine rows, that's the kind of day you remember forever. Most bike and wine tours cost 70 to 90 euros per person. Includes bike rental, tastings, usually lunch. If you're on a budget, rent bikes for 15 euros and show up at chateau yourself. Most do walk-in tastings for 10 to 20 euros. The wine producers are so passionate. Even my dumbest questions, they were patient and excited to teach me. Number 7. The French Alps, specifically Chamonix and Mont Blanc. I put this off for years thinking, mountains are mountains. Then I went and felt like an idiot for waiting. We did this hike called Lac Blanc, about 2 to 3 hours up, pretty moderate. You walk through alpine meadows with wildflowers, past stone chalets with cowbells clanging. Then you reach the top. Crystal clear alpine lake. And behind it is Mont Blanc. This massive snow-covered peak reflected perfectly in the water. I sat on a rock, pulled out my ham and butter sandwich from a bakery in town, and just ate it staring at this view. That's when I thought, France has everything. Chamonix is far eastern France, near Switzerland and Italy. Train from Paris is 5 to 6 hours with incredible views. Or fly into Geneva and drive 1.5 hours. The hike is free. Cable cars cost 30 to 40 euros if hiking isn't your thing. Best time is June through September. I went early June. There was still snow, but wildflowers were covering entire hillsides. This is where I realized France isn't just romance and wine. It's also adventure and feeling small in the best way. Number 6. Lyon. The food capital of France, not Paris. Lyon. There are these traditional restaurants called bouchons. Small, family-run checkered tablecloths, they serve heavy Lyonnaise food. Duck pâté, sausages, rich sauces. I ordered quenelles. Like a fish dumpling in the richest, creamiest sauce imaginable. When it arrived, I thought, there's no way I'm finishing this. I finished it, and wanted more. The flavors are so deep. You can taste it's been made the same way for generations. Our server watched me take my first bite, and when I looked up, shocked, she just smiled and nodded. In Paris, you pay 30 to 40 euros minimum for a good meal. In Lyon, we ate at top-rated bouchons for 15 to 20 euros per person. Just as good, if not better. Lyon also has Les Salles de Lyon food market. Cheese vendors, butchers, oyster bars, pastry shops. I bought cheese, pâté, baguette, wine and tiny raspberry tarts. Took it to the park by the river, best lunch ever, maybe 12 euros. Food in Lyon isn't pretentious, it's joyful. Every meal felt like a celebration. Number 5. Versailles. But you have to be there at 9 AM sharp. My first time, I went at 11 LAM in July. Wall-to-wall people, couldn't see anything, pushed through like cattle. Second time, I set an alarm for 6:30 AM, took the first train, was in line by 8:45. For the first 30 to 45 minutes, you basically have the palace to yourself. We walked into the Hall of Mirrors, maybe 5 other people total. I just stood there, same room where they signed the Treaty of Versailles, where Marie Antoinette walked. I could hear our footsteps echoing. That's when I understood overwhelming opulence. Every surface decorated, every ceiling painted, everything gold-leafed. When you're not fighting crowds, you can actually process it. The gardens are even better. We saw the fountains, they run on weekends with music, and found a spot by the Grand Canal where we sat for an hour. Cost is about 20 euros. Book online ahead. I know 9 AM is early, but push yourself. By noon when we left, the crowds were insane. This is more grand than movies show. It's almost ridiculous, but if you see it properly, it'll blow your mind. Number 4. Lavender fields of Provence. I waited 3 years to time this right. Lavender only blooms 4 to 6 weeks in summer, usually mid-June through late July. We rented a car, drove through Luberon in early July, and just got lost. Random turns, following signs to villages we'd never heard of. Then, near this town called Valensole, there it was. Fields of lavender as far as I could see, like someone painted the landscape purple. I got out and walked into the field. The smell is sweet but fresh, so strong you smell it in the car with windows up. Your clothes smell like it for days. Thousands of bees everywhere, but they're so focused on flowers they don't care about you. We stayed 2 hours, walking through rows, taking photos, lying in the lavender carefully, eating our market picnic. I told my friend, this is the most beautiful place I've ever been. Timing is everything. Check bloom reports before booking. Fields around Valensole and Soult are easiest to access. It's free, just pull over and walk in. Respect posted private fields. We stayed in a village Airbnb for 80 euros a night. Drove around exploring fields and buying lavender honey at roadside stand. It sounds simple, just flowers. But standing in this sea of purple, surrounded by that smell, sun on your face, bees humming, it's pure magic. Number 3, my favorite because I stumbled into it completely by accident. Driving through Loire Valley, we passed this tiny village with lights strung up and music playing. Their annual village festival, long tables set up in the square, the entire village eating together. We parked, stood there awkwardly. This older woman came up, started talking rapid French. I caught maybe 30%. But she gestured to the tables, said something about welcome, and we were invited to eat with them. I got teary-eyed. Complete strangers, we couldn't speak the language well, and they just welcomed us. Simple food. Roasted chicken, potatoes, salad, bread, wine. Delicious because it was communal. People passing dishes, trying to communicate. This guy in his 70s found out we were American and got so excited because he visited California in the 80s. Spent 20 minutes telling us about Disneyland with the biggest smile. We understood maybe half, but it didn't matter. After dinner, traditional folk dancing in the square. People pulled us in, showed us steps, laughed when we messed up, dancing under string lights with strangers we'd never see again. Perfect. You can't plan this. But small villages have festivals all summer. Check tourism sites for fête de village schedules, drive through small towns on weekends, be open. When you see something happening, stop, even if it's scary. This is where you meet actual French people living actual lives. The best travel moments aren't monuments. They are connections with people living completely different lives, where you realize people are just people. And most are kind. Number 2. Étretat White Cliffs in Normandy. Most underrated place in France. These massive white chalk cliffs with natural arches carved by the ocean over thousands of years, where Monet painted. We got there at sunrise, left our Airbnb at 5:30 a.m. I was grumpy. Then the sun started lighting up these white cliffs, and they were glowing, actually glowing pink and orange. Beach was empty except one person walking a dog. Just waves crashing, seagulls crying, no cars, no people, just nature. We climbed the steep path to the top. From above you see the famous arch Lavender, this pointed rock sticking from the water. The ocean has carved caves and tunnels into cliffs. I stood at the edge, just a rope barrier. France is chill about safety and looked down 300 feet at waves crashing. Felt this rush of perspective. The ocean's been doing this for millennia. I'm just this tiny person here for 5 minutes. Made me feel small, in a good way. Étretat is 2.5 hours north of Paris. Need to rent a car. The cliffs are free. Town has great seafood restaurants, fresh mussels, fish, Normandy cider, maybe 25 euros. Best time is anything except high summer. We went in May, perfect weather, barely any crowds. Watch the light change all day if you can. Every hour looks different. Étretat reminded me France has wild, rugged places that feel ancient and powerful. Number 1. This sounds simple, but it's my favorite thing ever. Assembling the perfect French picnic from market finds and eating it somewhere beautiful. Over 8 trips, the moments I remember most aren't famous monuments or expensive restaurants. They're afternoons buying fresh bread, cheese, charcuterie, fruit, wine from a market, finding a park or riverbank, and just eating, talking, watching French life. My favorite was in Paris along the Saint-Michel de la Cité. Morning market purchases, fresh warm baguette, 3 cheeses the vendor picked, jambon and saucisson, fresh strawberries, dark chocolate, rosé. Under 30 euros for 2 people. Best meal of the trip. Sat on a bench by Notre Dame, watched street performers, tourists, locals, walking dogs, worked through this picnic slowly, tearing bread, spreading cheese with a plastic knife, sipping wine from plastic cups. The cheese was creamy and funky. Bread had that perfect crust that shatters. Strawberries so ripe they stained our fingers. Wine was nothing special but cold and pink and tasted like summer. We sat there 2 hours. Just being, not rushing, not checking off lists, just existing in Paris, eating good food, feeling the sun. That's when I fell in love with France. Not in the Louvre or at the Eiffel Tower. On a bench, eating a 15-euro picnic, feeling completely content. I've done this in lavender fields, chateau gardens, nice beach, lion parks. Every time, magic. A French picnic isn't just food, it's the ritual. Going to markets, talking to vendors, selecting each item. It's slowing down, being present, and it's accessible to everyone. You don't need money, no reservations, no perfect French. Just buy food and find a nice spot. This is what I want you to take away. Yes, see the Eiffel Tower, go to Versailles, but also give yourself permission to just be in France. Sit and eat bread and cheese, watch life happen. Don't rush. That's when you'll feel it. The magic. It's not in monuments, it's in quiet moments living like the French live, prioritizing good food, beautiful surroundings, taking your time. That's the real France. And it's waiting for you. If you want more travel guides like this, real, honest, from someone who's actually been there and made all the mistakes so you don't have to hit that subscribe button right down there. And seriously, I want to know what's your France dream. Walking through lavender fields, eating croissants in Paris, wine tasting in Bordeaux? Drop a comment below. Let me know what you're most excited about. I read every single comment and I love hearing from you guys. I'll see you in the next one. Au revoir.